something I've been thankful for is the ability to have tough and honest conversations, especially about like interpersonal stuff or just society at large, because we all come from such various backgrounds that we want to learn about each other. And I think we're not actively taught about other people or other cultures unless you take an active interest in it. But even when you are doing that, you have to be aware about where. But even when you are doing that, you have to be aware about where you're getting your information from, because I was talking to a friend about how I don't really like anthropological studies because it's always about somebody going into a culture and studying that culture and then presenting it to you through their lens, as opposed to somebody of that culture telling you about how they live their life. And like you have to go search that out. I got a bunch of these books that I want to read that are in line with that, but that's going to take some time. But I appreciate people who study themselves. Clearly, because everything I do is a study of myself and my own experience and my interpretation of the world. I hope that how I interpret the world is one of benevolence, or at least like trying to understand the multitude of reasonings that we all hold as to why we are who we are. And I appreciate people who can match that or bring that out. It takes a lot of like courage to openly discuss who you are and openly discuss where you may be lacking in information or knowledge, or trying to just appreciate what somebody else is telling you. Because when you communicate, so much comes up. There's always so many layers to fucking everything. But I think collectively, if we're able to push through that, recognize that someone's trying to learn about us and giving us the space to expound upon what makes us who we are, we can have a more understanding and fruitful world. And there's a lot of emotion in that. It's a fucked system that we're in. And it's been continuously fucked for so many years. But I meet a lot of wondrous people who are unabashedly themselves. And I think through connecting, talking, we all grow. And that's a scary, tough thing. Because what also comes to my mind is attachment. Attachment is a cluster of shit. Because when you become attached to something, you're inherently going to be suffering. That's like one of the main points in Buddhism. I mean, attached to so much. We attach to the image of ourselves. I'm attached to whatever this is that you see. Whatever I choose to interpret my world as being. But you have to be okay with all of that changing at any given moment. I can take in some new information and be a completely different person, but it's going to be a tough journey in doing that and actually changing if I attach to these old narratives of who I am and who I need to be, or expectations of how the world should be treating me. Which is fair too. You are allowed to have expectations. Like, I think we're all allowed to treat each other with respect, but we're also allowed to recognize that not everybody's going to fuck with us, which then gets into the mess of trying to share space and have space together. I think of the quote that said that like, just because we're not eating at the same table doesn't mean that I don't want to see you eat. And I feel that for a lot of people, because I talk about connection, grace, trying to all be one big happy family, but there are people who I've cut out, who I have not talked to or wanted to pursue a relationship with. And for me, I've told these people that too. I don't try to ghost. I've ghosted before. It's not fucking nice. It weighs on you, it weighs on the other person. Pardon? And it's not nice. It weighs on you and it weighs on the other person, which is why I talk about honest communication. And I think I've said it before, but people take a lack of communication to be like, oh, well, you don't fuck with me. You're not putting effort into talking with me, which is fair too, because people want to connect. But I think with everything I just said, you have to recognize how messy it is for everybody. Take some time to get to know yourself. Take some time to be brave enough to view what you hold in your chest. And I'm speaking about like general terms because I can't speak for you. This is just my interpretation of the world and my prayer for betterment. And if that all makes sense, that's like a whole lot for you to take in. But that's what's been weighing on my mind.